guys, today is day 4 of a handcrafted holiday. So in today's video, I go into my stash, I pull out this really cool frame. The picture is not so great, it's just like an old piece of cardboard, so it was perfect for my inspiration. I actually was scrolling through Instagram and a gal was decorating her staircase, and in the background there was a sign on her wall, and I tried to replicate that, or basically take inspiration from her sign and create my own. And I absolutely love how mine turned out because it has all kinds of yummy crackle chippy goodness. So stick around and I'm gonna walk you through the steps and show you how you can recreate a sign just like mine. Here it is, the picture frame and picture that I thrifted while I was at the Goodwill bins. This baby was just laying in one of the bins, and you guys know how much I love just really big chunky frames. I did not love the actual print, but I knew I wanted to do something to transform it. For starters, I wanted to paint the entire base like a dark brown, not like a chocolate color, but almost like a weathered wood from DIY paint. I wanted to cut out a step because DIY paint, you have to seal it. And I wanted to have it sealed before I applied the milk paint. So instead, I decided to go with Fusion's Wood Wick. Very close, or it's a similar look as to what weathered wood would have looked like. So I applied 2 even coats to the entire piece and I let it dry overnight. Here's what it looks like after 2 coats of paint. I wanted to just start off with a really nice, clean, dark color for the base, and then we're going to apply some milk paint. I decided to use Flour Sack from Sweet Pickins milk paint, and I thought I could completely finish this with 1 packet. It turned out it actually took 1.5 packets to completely finish it. If you haven't used milk paint yet, it's super easy. Have a jar that you can mix it in, and then I have 2 different scoopers, 1 scooper for the water, 1 for the milk paint, and it's a 50-50 ratio. So you want to add your warm water to your container first, and then you'll add the milk paint next. And the powder itself does not go bad. So once you have it mixed, they typically say you have roughly 24 hours to use it, and then it actually spoils. So what I do is I try to mix up smaller batches, kind of figure out, I've been playing around trying to determine like how much I need to mix up for a project. So for instance, this project I thought I needed 2 scoops of water to 2 scoops of milk paint. In the end, I actually needed the entire pack plus a half a pack to completely finish it. Once you get all your milk paint in your container, you can use anything from a whisk to a fork. I have these little whisks. I just whisk it up. You can actually even use your paintbrush, but you want to make sure that all the chunks and everything are out of it. What I did notice is I should have probably gone back in and whisked it a second time after I went back to do a second coat. I don't know if it kind of started clumping a little bit. It doesn't hurt anything because in the end, you do have to sand your project, so any of the little chunks or clumps that are on your project will come off. Your milk paint should be the consistency of a melted milkshake. I use a chip brush and I just start applying it. And with white, you definitely need several layers. I actually did 2 coats on the entire piece. And then what happens is if you want more of like a crackly finish or have more of like a chippy finish, you'll zap it with your heat gun and it actually encourages the milk paint to crackle even more. I want to give you just a peek at what it looks like after coat 1. You can see there's a bit of crackle here. I did zap it just ever so slightly with the heat gun. And then over here as well, you can see that the crackling is beginning to happen. The first coat is completely dry. I am now applying a second coat of the milk paint. You can already see that the coverage is a whole lot better. I want it to have a really nice coverage, but I want to have that crackle also. And then when it crackles, I want that wood wick to kind of peek through a bit. Here's after the second coat. You can see that it is really starting to crackle a lot. The inside is as well, but not as much. Here's another angle, and you can see all that crackly goodness there. Now I only zapped it for a little bit. I didn't go crazy with the heat gun, but it is really starting to crackle a lot, and I feel like it almost lifted a little bit. And that's exactly what it did just on the frame, you guys. I don't know. I know that they say that milk paint is a little bit temperamental and each surface it will react a little different, but I felt like we were starting off with wood wick on the frame and the actual painting the same. So what I did is I went outside and I basically sanded off any of the paint that was going to chip. And sometimes you want that look where it's really big chunks of chippy paint off of it. That was not the look I was going for. So what I did is I mixed up another batch of milk paint, and I am applying just a nice even coat of milk paint to the entire frame again. And when it actually lifted, it actually pulled some of that wood wick paint off as well. So right now I am just painting it directly onto the frame. And in the end, I actually paint 2 even coats of milk paint to the entire piece. While that is all drying, what I did next is I went to my vinyl cutter and I created my own stencil. I am using a product called Aura Mask, and this is new to me, so I haven't used it before. So this is the first time that I've tried it, and like I said, I went to my vinyl cutter, I picked out 3 different fonts. I wanted more of that chunkier look for the Mary. I wanted a cursive type of font for the and then more of like a very tall font for bright. And so I created 3 different stencils, and I printed them off each separately. So I am using, like I said, the Aura Mask, and I am going to lay that down onto my board, and then we're gonna stencil that on. The one thing that I definitely want to recommend to everyone, do not do what I've done in the past. A lot of times I will eyeball it up, and actually that's what I was going to do here. I was just gonna lay it down, and then I'm like, no, Sonnet, you need to get out your ruler, you need to measure where the center of this is. And initially I only had Mary all cut out, so then I decided, no, I'm gonna lay out both of them so that I get the and just perfect. So I flip it over here, and then I go ahead and I print off the bright. And here I am measuring it, and I'm trying to figure out where the center is. And then once I do that, I lay down bright and Mary, and then I start stenciling that. After I get both of those all stenciled, then we're gonna come back and lay down the and. To stencil this, I am using my JRV stencil brush, a 1-inch. I am also using Highlander from Fusion. I really like this red this year. It is really speaking to me for the red of the season. I'm applying just a really nice even coat to the entire word Mary. My vision here is that if you remember that sign from the beginning, it is a bit, the wording is distressed a bit. So once I apply one even coat to all of the letters, I'm going to let it dry, come back with the stencil still on, and I am going to just lightly sand over each of the letters just to give it a bit of distressing. For the word bright, I'm using Manor Green, and again, I am going in and I'm just applying one even coat to the entire word. When I let that dry, then again, I'm going to come back and I'm just going to distress it a bit. Then I'm going to pull off both of the stencils, and then I'm going to apply and. Because this is the first time I am using the Aura mask as a stencil, I do want to mention I was very impressed with it. I will have it linked below, so if it is something you're interested in, I will have it in the description. Also, all the supplies that I'm using in today's video, you can find on my website at www.sonnetsgardenblooms.com. Now I laid down the word and I am using the coal black, and I am again just applying a really nice even coat, and you can see how the merry and bright look. I just distressed them with a sandpaper. It was a very light grit, and I just lightly rubbed over it just to make it look a bit worn. I'm going to do the same exact thing with and once it dries. Now for the finishing touch to the frame, I am headed back outside with my hand sander, and I just want to give it a little bit of distress here and there. I do have a very light grit sandpaper, and again, I'm just touching it here and there. I don't want a lot of distressing, just a bit. Anytime you're using milk paint, you do need to seal it. I went back and forth, you guys. I'm like, should I go with the clear or should I go with the dark? And I decided, I finally settled on the dark oil wax from Sweet Pickins. And again, I've been slightly obsessed with all the dark waxes lately. So what I discovered is I am laying it down, and when you apply the oil wax, you'll want to leave it just absorb into that milk paint for roughly 10 minutes. Then you're going to come back and you're going to wipe it away. I am using a chip brush, and I am just applying it with a chip brush over the entire piece. And at first I got a little nervous, you guys, because I didn't want it to be really, really dark. I just wanted it to enhance all that crackle goodness. Now that it's been sitting for roughly 10 minutes, I am taking a piece of paper towel and I am wiping away the excess oil wax. I'm going in with initially just wiping it away, then I go in a secondary time and wipe away even, there's a little bit more excess, so I just wipe it down. And I am loving it already. It gets into all those little nooks and crannies and the crevices. It just brings out all the detail, and it really makes it look like an old sign, like that's been around for years and years. What did you guys all think? I hope that I've inspired you today to go out and try to make one of your own holiday signs and play around with milk paint. It's so fun to see what you can create with that. You guys know how much I love distress, chippy, crackly, all that good stuff. So it's awesome that you can recreate that without getting sick from lead. You know, all that lead paint and all that chippy goodness is really lead paint. So now you can recreate your own. I'm definitely gonna start trying to play around with different layers and see how that goes. So as I become more familiar with it, you guys are gonna see a whole lot more different trial and errors. You guys know how I am. I'm just gonna wing it and do it and see how it turns out. So, all right, well, the rest of the week, I am still gonna be putting out a reel a day or a short over here on YouTube. And it's going to be for the full 25 days. So different inspirations, tips and tricks for a handcrafted holiday. Now, if you guys are enjoying my channel and you haven't done so yet, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. That way every Monday and Friday, you'll be notified when I upload a video. And if you like today's video, give it a thumbs up. And in the comments, tell me what you guys think about milk paint. Have you tried it? Are you scared to try it? Do you think it's old school? When I first talked to my mom about it and I said I was going to have it be part of my product line, she said, really? Isn't milk paint like an old school type of product that they used to offer? I'm like, no, it's not just old school. It's something that you should be using as well, Mom. So, God love her, but now she is all interested in what it can do to her transformations or her upcycles as well. So, all right, guys, you have a great night and we will see you Friday. Well, actually, you'll see me all week. You'll probably see me for the next 25 days. So have yourselves a great week and we'll see you then. Bye.